Yeah.
Yeah, definitely longer and more athletic, which is great news, especially going against a lot of these bigger teams. I'm gonna pick a team here. We're gonna go with the Chicago Bulls. I'm gonna put them in a mid off. Um, I think this is obvious for the Chicago Bulls. I think that this roster is just one blow up away from just completely trading away a lot of these players. Like to me, I think Zach Levine, I think he's gone personally. I think that the Chicago Bulls, there seems to be some sort of rift between Levine and DeRozan last year. I just don't think that this team, there was a lot of promise a couple years back when they put together this roster. I think without Lonzo, this team is it's hard to see them play really well. They've been struggling for a very long time, and I just think that it could be possibly time to blow up the Chicago Bulls team.
I think that was 2 years ago, personally. But um, yeah, they have a lot of problems. I honestly think their coach is subpar at best. Billy Donovan. Still don't really understand what his thing is. Like I think that is greatly understated in the NBA. Is like a lot of these coaches need to have a thing. Like what are they really elite at? Because people, we talk about that specifically with players, but that is certainly a coaching aspect too. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have to have like elite, game management. I mean, that's, a term we throw around with football most often, but that is the same. It's the same thing with basketball. You have to be able to manage in game, make,
Mm-hmm.
adjustments, all sorts of things like that, but you don't necessarily need to do that. The question with Billy Donovan is, what is it? Does he have anything he actually does that's like above average? And I really don't think so. I think he's kind of a subpar coach, but that's their roster. Like their roster is subpar. They don't really have, for everything people think about DeRozan and Levine, they're at best like the second best player on a championship team at best. And I actually would say for both of them, I actually think they're the third best guy in championship teams at this point in their careers.
Ooh,
So I
spicy.
really,
Ooh, that's spicy.
That's spicy.
I'm not sure about
I
this
think it's
team, guys.
correct for DeRozan.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's more questionable for Levine, sure, because he's still young enough. Like honestly, he could go up a
yeah,
level. I just don't think he
yeah.
has the mentality on a bad team to actually do that. I think he needs to have somebody above him that's like actually, like honestly, Levine at this point, I kind of think he's like in the same spot. If he went to the right team, he could have kind of like a Middleton next few years, where he's like this really high level. I think that's kind of his perfect spot, and he is not in that spot on this team.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think, yeah, Zach is like, I've seen some numbers. He's just super elite at off ball play and he's super elite at
Yeah.
finishing. So, yeah, I mean, he's just in a terrible situation. And him and Lonzo had a really good connection going, which was making this team a lot better than what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I totally agree. This team is a mid off. They have some nice pieces, though, like Patrick Williams, who they've been doing a disservice to for since he got drafted.
Yep.
But they brought in Torrey Craig, they brought in Javon Carter, who are two really good defenders and should help bolster their defense. But I don't think it really matters when three of your best players in Zach, Vooch, and DeRozan can't really play defense. Like Vooch is below average, like way below average.
Yeah.
In
DeRozan's
general.
maybe average, yeah, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
and then Zach's maybe average too. So
Yeah.
the team can only do so much when the three guys playing the most minutes can't play defense. Um,
Ber- Before we get too far, Bernie, is there any way you can like share your screen? Is that a thing you can do with us on Discord?
Yeah.
Just so I can see the
Yeah.
tier list.
Let me see if I can share it. I got you guys.
I appreciate it.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean honestly, I think that this team, they're kind of like, oh man, I'm trying to come up with a comp for them in terms of how they're kind of building, but really they're just kind of like treading water. Like I think that that's kind of the ultimate way to think about the Chicago Bulls team. That every stage of the last few years, it hasn't gone their way, and then they double down.
yeah.
Like they make these choices that just kind of sink their ship a few years down the road a little
Mm-hmm.
faster. And they keep going down that road. Like re-signing Vooch this offseason was like a huge sign of like they're comfortable in the position they are and they're not really taking anything serious. That is not a serious move to re-sign Vooch
yeah,
in the state they are. Like you need to just cut bait at a certain point. You made one of the worst trades in NBA history. It got overshadowed by Gobert, but they still did it. They still made like a top 5 bad trade of the 21st century and they doubled down on it. And that is not how you come out of the hole. So I have very little faith in this team. I honestly don't even know if they're a mid-off, but um,
I mean,
I'll let it ride. I'm fine with it.
I think the reason why I went mid off is because they still have the players that they do. Now, if they trade those guys and the team blows up because obviously this team is not as good as they should be, then of course I think they're lottery bound. But I just think with those players, I can't see them being in the lottery, like the really low lottery, like a chance for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, you'll win some games with DeMar, Zach, and Vooch.
The only reason I say that is because I think they're one injury away from actually just being forced to blow it up. Like, this upcoming draft is actually, we don't need to get into it right now, obviously. We have all next season to talk about it. It's actually a little underrated already. Like, people were talking about the Wemby Scoot was the one to go for. Next year is going to be good too, man. There's a ton of really, really big athletic dudes in that top 5 in particular. I would not be shocked. Like, if there's an early injury to somebody like Levine and they're 12 and 25 after 35 games or whatever it is, like, I could easily see them shipping DeMar off for just a couple picks and just try and let's tank it out for the rest of this season. I don't think that's out of the question for this team. Fire Billy Donovan, go with some interim coach. Like, let me ask you one question about this team, guys. What is there any young dude? And Patrick Williams, Brad, I know we're both kind of we still have hope for Patrick
I'm
Williams.
so hopeful.
I just don't think it's possible on this team, to be honest with you. I think he needs to go anywhere but Chicago after how these few years have gone. Is there any other guy but him that you guys have any hope in? Because, like, Io is somebody, like, he's interesting. But other than that, they're so thin even on young talent to develop. What do you guys think? Anybody?
I would say Dalen Terry. I think
like
he can be like a point guard, a tall point guard, but they don't even give him a chance to play. So
he's kind of got like Bruce Brown vibes, like current Bruce Brown.
Exactly.
He doesn't get any run though.
No, none at all. And he's really talented, so it's a shame.
Yeah, I liked him pre-draft too, but yeah, again, no flashes from him. Bernie, what about you? Anybody on their team stick out to you?
Not really. I mean,
it's a wasteland.
It's rough. Kobe White's been better. He's been better.
He genuinely, honestly, I will agree with you, Brad. He actually kind of proved me. I thought he was cooked after a couple years ago. He actually looked kind of serviceable last year. He's not nothing as a role player.
No, I mean, solid role player. Just I think what they needed from him was that point guard.
Yeah, they expected a lot. That's for sure.